Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing the good, the bad, and the ugly on the second generation Subaru WRX. Pretty much the second generation is the Bug Eye, the Blob Eye, and the Hawkeye. All of those are the second generation, they're just facelifts. And so we're going to be talking about all three in this video. Also, I want to apologize for not uploading yesterday. Me and my friends have been working on my Z for very long, trying to get this downpipe off, and it's just taken forever. But anyway, hope you guys are excited for this video. I'm sorry for the long wait. I'm exhausted, but I have to get it out to you tonight, so here you guys go. Alrighty, so the second generation Subaru WRX STI was produced from 2000 to 2007, the golden years. And during those years, they got two massive facelifts that actually completely changed the looks of their car. Some people, they say, oh yeah, it's a facelift, but it kind of doesn't really change the looks of it. This was a massive one. The first face was the Bug Eye face, which was most people's least favorite, myself included, and it looked like this. It was produced from 2000 to 2002, and the second face was the Blob Eye face, which is my personal favorite WRX ever built, which is kind of weird, and it looked like this, and it was produced from 2002 to 2005. And the last face was the Hawkeye face, which does look more aggressive. They started going in the right direction, but it wasn't my favorite. But it was produced from 2005 to 2007. Just keep in mind that all of these cars came in either a sedan or a wagon. So if you want a wagon WRX, that is an option. Same deal with obviously the sedan WRXs are a big thing. But for the STI, they didn't. If you want a WRX STI, you can only get it in a sedan. They do not make wagon STIs. They do make Forester STIs, which are pretty cool. And so, I mean, if you want a wagon STI, just go with that. But they don't actually make a Subaru Impreza wagon STI, if that makes any sense. And keep in mind too that both the WRX and the STI came in only all-wheel drive. That's a rally car. They're not going to come in rear-wheel drive. All-wheel drive suits them well. They all shared the same 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4 that made 227 horsepower and 217 foot-pounds of torque in the WRX. The STI came with 280 horsepower and 291 foot-pounds of torque, but it shared the exact same engine. It was just tuned differently, which still to this day confuses me. Whenever a car company brings out the exact same engine, but it's not like turbocharged, it's the same engine, and somehow they bump more horsepower out of it, I'm just like, why didn't you do that in the beginning? Now, obviously, every WRX isn't just based off of a performance version of the Impreza. So if you don't have the money to afford a WRX, then buying an Impreza and making a quick little sedan is still an option. Next, we're going to talk about the modifying scene of this car, and the number one thing people do to just about any car nowadays is show car builds. So obviously there is a huge amount of those for WRXs, considering that WRXs are easily the most popular platform to build on out there right now. So the biggest scene is show car builds, and so the biggest car is WRXs, so there's obviously going to be a lot of WRXs in the show. But the cool thing about WRXs is that they can be used for literally anything except for drifting, since it's all-wheel drive and not rear-wheel drive. But you can always take out the front axle and you're chilling in a rear-wheel drive car. Anyway, everything else people do quite a bit. Drag builds are seen very often. Circuit racing is seen pretty often. But most importantly, rally racing is seen quite a bit, since they are a purpose-built rally car. WRX, World Rally Cross, that's what it stands for, and they're very good at it. Subaru's been an amazing rally team for years now. I find that pretty cool, because honestly, most cars nowadays don't care at all about rally. Rally is kind of like falling off the face of the earth. There's not really that many people that care about it. I love it, you probably love it, but not a lot of people do. And it's really sad to see, but at least we still have the WRX. At least we still have that little piece of history of rally staying alive with WRX's name. Every year after year, they make new cars, and it's just they're holding up their end of the bargain, and I'm just happy about it. This makes the WRX one of, if not the best choice to first get started into your rally adventures. I would highly recommend looking into one of these or an Audi Quattro. Those are the only two cars that I would think are your best bet if you're trying to get started into rallying. But now let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the way this works is, first I talk about the good, which are things that are just fantastic about the car that you can't deny are good things. Next is we talk about the bad, which are things that are like take it or leave it. If you like it, cool. If you don't like it, all right. And lastly, we finally get into the ugly, which are things that you just can't deny about the car is bad, and it's just a sad thing. First, let's go off with the good because I'm a happy guy. And right off the bat, I want to say the looks on the WRX is always just so timeless. They look really, really simple yet effective. Stock, there's still something that'll make you look over really quick. And modded, they are a completely different breed that you're going to be like, wow, that car looks sick. It's awesome. They are just a sedan, but even though they are just a sedan, and the only real difference that a WRX has from a normal Impreza is a hood scoop, and the STIs come with the wing. But the hood scoop is really the only difference that they have. But this still makes you look. When they drive by, you're still like, ooh, what is that? Ooh, that thing's nice. It's just, they nail the looks on these cars perfect every generation. Second is the community for them is absolutely massive. It's easily one of the biggest communities in the world, if not the biggest. I personally think that Subaru's community is easily the most massive car community out there. If you ever have a question on your Subaru, you will find an answer extremely easy. YouTube, forums, even Instagram. People are going to want to help you because there's millions and millions of people that own Subaru WRXs, and there's millions and millions of people that have done the thing that you have done to the car, and they're going to help you figure out how to do it. Next is they are super easy to work on, which makes it another great choice for when talking about your first car. This, topped with the other fact about how there's a bunch of people out there helping you, is why so many people choose them as their first fun little daily. They're perfect for it in almost every sense of the word. Next is the exhaust note is literally something different. It's a 4-cylinder engine, so you keep that in mind, and they sound so good. It's just, I'll put in a clip of the famous Subi Rumble, but there's a reason why people call it the Subi Rumble, because it sounds nothing like anything else on the road, and it's just so distinct. Like you can hear it and you know it's a Subi from a mile away. And lastly, for the great is they are one of the best fun daily drivers you can buy. As long as you get one with a healthy engine and you don't plan on modding it too much, they will last you an absolute lifetime. These Subarus are notorious for lasting just years and years and years. Japanese cars in general are good at that, and Subaru is just top of the line. Next is the bad, which are once again things that are take it or leave it. It's up to you if they're bad or not. First is, even though the engine is reliable, it isn't reliable when talking about upping the power, aka the boost. Head gaskets failing in one of these is a classic issue, and not everyone wants to rebuild an engine just to push more boost. It's kind of sad, and yes, it is a stereotype that, oh, the head gaskets fail in the Subarus, and they don't fail. They don't fail if you're keeping the car stock. If you're taking good care of this car, they will not fail. But it's when you start adding boost and adding extra performance mods that are going to up the power on it, that's when they start to fail more than other engines, and that's the problem that you want to avoid. Next is they are all-wheel drive, meaning you cannot drift one unless you convert it to rear-wheel drive, but at that point you're better off just buying it already rear-wheel drive car. Converting a car over to rear-wheel drive is an extremely difficult process. It's fun and it looks cool because you're the only person doing it, but it's going to be a pain in the arse. You might as well just go with a 350Z. It's a better choice, I'm sorry. But that can also be the all-wheel drive can also be a good thing if you don't care about rear-wheel drive or drifting. If you don't have an interest in drifting whatsoever, then all-wheel drive is great because they make great daily drivers. All right, you can drive them anywhere. Snow, it's not an issue. Rain, not an issue. They have all wheels going at the same time, so they're really good for that. And last is next. Is everyone has one, so they're kind of next to impossible to make unique, if that makes any sense. Every single mod that you do to a WRX, someone has already done to their WRX, since there's just so many people who have touched these cars. It's very, very hard to be unique. It's very hard to stand out in one of these cars, and that can obviously, you know, that's part of the reason why people love cars, is that we stand out from the rest of the bunch. And so that's, I don't know, I just put it into bad because I thought, you know, that's kind of something that you kind of need in a car, is standing out, being different, and you don't really get that in a WRX, since like I said, everybody has them. And finally, we get to talk about the ugly, which are things that you just can't get around. They are things that are bad, and for this car there really isn't many, but the first one is a big issue. First is the fact that you can't push boost without touching the internals, or at least the head gasket itself. If you address the head gasket issue, then it'll be okay. But this is such a controversial one. Some will say that they've done it and just fine. Like, I know one of my friends has like a Subaru WRX right now with 240,000 miles, and he said he's never had an issue with the engine. But a lot of people say that they are just extremely unreliable. I guess it really does just depend on the health of the engine and the way that you take care of it yourself. but I hear way too many people talking about the WRX specifically blowing head gaskets, and so that's why I put it in the ugly. It's something that you really can't avoid. If you look up Subaru problems, one of the first things are going to be the head gaskets. They just tend to blow. It's just something that they do. It's like rotaries and their apex seals. WRXs, EJ motors are going to have problems with the head gaskets, and you can't really get around it unless you fix the problem, unless you address the problem. Just keep that in mind. Yes, the stereotype is kind of true. It's sad to say. I like WRXs, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that stereotype is definitely something you want to look out for. And finally, the last thing that I can even think of for ugly, there's literally only two, is going to buy one is always such a huge gamble. It's obviously a gamble with any sports car in today's day and age, but Subarus are pretty much the main one. Everyone out there has Subarus, so every company out there makes parts for Subarus, and that includes very, very bad companies that don't know what they're doing and making bad parts. So going to pick up a Subaru that's been modified it's very, very gambling. You don't know if the guy spent a great amount of money on a Cobb tune, or if he went down the street and tuned it by freaking, I don't even know, McDonald's. And not like an auto parts McDonald's, like McDonald's, the fast food place, all right? You don't know, and so it's very, very risky, and you can never tell how much longer you're gonna have in one of these cars, and it's kind of scary. Especially when talking about, like, if somebody's like, oh, this is my second motor on my, you can do whatever you want to it, baby, except for drifting, and that is why, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru, I guess. It is a really good choice, though, if you want to get a daily driver. That's still a blast to drive. Alright guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry for the late upload. I know it's going to be late because I'm filming this very late, so I know it's going to be a late upload. So I'm very sorry in advance, but I was working on my car today. That video will be out in a couple of days. I don't know exactly when, but that video will be out in a couple of days. Hope you guys are excited for that one, because I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so sorry that I didn't show like a lot of emotion today. I'm very tired, but anyway guys, let me know any other cars you guys want to see down in the comment section below, because that's literally how I get the ideas to do the next car, is I look at the most liked comment and I just go with that one, because if you guys want to see it, I'll do it. I like all cars. I don't mind learning about them. It's fun to learn about them. So definitely, you know, let me know what other cars you want to see, and if you have one of these, which I'm sure a lot of you guys probably do, let me know if I got anything wrong, because I definitely could have been wrong. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. Tomorrow's probably going to be another top 10. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.